see what he feels was the big key here in the first half when Bob visits with him at the half. Ed Grimes gets a rousing applause from the homestanding crowd here in Springfield, Missouri. The senior out of Northern Iowa out of Riviera Beach, Florida, is back up on his feet. And that's good news to everybody. As you can see, the passing yardage here so far in this first half. As expected, Northern Iowa with the advantage, but not by so much. And Arterburn now. On 2nd down and 3, the ball at the 30-yard line. Back to pass. Arterburn with less than 10 seconds remaining is dumped as he looked for a receiver, but nobody was there, and time is clicking down. And we have now reached the halfway point in this game, as it is Southwest Missouri State, the home team here, trailing by a score of 21-14. And it's been an exciting first half so far. As you can see, both teams going off to their respective dressing rooms. A lot of big plays in this first half, and I know the fans, even though their team is down by 7 here, have to be excited with the play and the way their team has been playing. And they know after they scored that late touchdown to bring them within 7 points that they were going to find themselves back into this ball game. They will be in the second half. We'll just have to see. It'll be just a matter of time. Well, you know, Tom, I think it's been a tough road to home for Northern Iowa because they have yet, this is their 3rd game of the season, they have not played at home yet either.
No, they're going to be anxious to get back home, get inside the dome, the nice cool comfort of the 72 degrees. But when you can go on the road and beat Kansas State, when you can go on the road and lead an offensive-minded ball club like SMS, heck, why not stay on the road? But I know the fans back in Cedar Falls are anxious to get them inside the dome and cheer them on.
And I know Coach Darrell Muderer was not excited about playing on a natural surface this year. He was pretty excited about playing in the dome because it is quite a different ball game. As you get a great overview of the press box here tonight in Springfield.
Well, Coach Muderer has a tremendous advantage when they're in the dome. If a person's never been there, and of course the fans in Cedar Falls are there quite often, but the noise level and playing under those conditions really makes it tough for the visiting people that come in, and the Panthers just love it.
Well, let's get a chance to go downstairs and talk to Bob Healy. He's got the coach for Northern Iowa, Darrell Muderer, down on the field.
Darrell had to make the walk down from the press box. As we said, he watches the game upstairs. Darrell, I want to ask you about the quarterback change. Now, you had Mike Smith, you were rolling, all of a sudden you go to Willard and back to Smith. What was your thinking?
Well, we felt like we needed to start playing Willard, and he did a good job. He put it in for a touchdown, and then he didn't do quite so good in the second series, and so we put Mike back in. But we want to play both of our quarterbacks and have Willard ready in the event that we need him. And so I think it was good that we got him some playing experience and he got some confidence, and hopefully it will help us down the road.
You're up 21-14 or 21-7, then Southwest comes back and scores another touchdown. That had to take a little wind out of your sails because you're really on a roll.
Well, we know they can score a lot of points. I imagine that if we can hold them to 14 points each half, we're probably doing pretty good. They've been scoring a lot more than that. Hopefully we can do some things at halftime to maybe shore up our defenses a little bit and continue to play like we have on offense, and we have a chance to win the game.
All right, thank you, Coach, for coming by. All right, we'll go back upstairs now.
Thanks, Bob, and we're going to come back with more halftime activities right after this. Ta-da. Northern Iowa a quick 7-0 lead in the first quarter. And then Keith Williams turned on the Jets and showed why he is such an exciting runner here as he pulled in a 57-yard pass from Tom Leaker and scampered down the right sidelines to tie the game up at 7-7. That's where we stood after the first quarter of play. And we'll go back now let's go downstairs to Bob. He's got somebody down along the sideline.
All right, now as part of our halftime activities, the Southwest Missouri Marching Band is going to perform, so we'll take it away to the marching band under the direction of Jerry Hooper with drum major.
To strengthening its reputation and the reputation of this state as a state of educational excellence. We are, for example, very proud of the fact that the prestigious North American Review, the oldest published literary magazine in the nation, is published here on our campus in the North American heartland. Our School of Business is experiencing extraordinary growth, resulting in large measure from the unparalleled successes of its graduates. We are flooded every year with firms from coast to coast seeking to attract UNI graduates. Last year, for example, 63% of the university's accounting graduates passed the Certified Public Accountant examination, an extraordinary achievement that ranked UNI second in the nation and accorded to the university recognition in the Wall Street Journal. In the midst of a curricular renaissance to strengthen the teaching of math and science in all the nation's schools, how exciting it is for the American Association of Colleges of Teachers of Education to rank Northern Iowa's math and science education programs in America's top 10. I think we all know what it means to be in the top 10. Each February...
For the opposing coach, Rich Johannesburg, hired to come outside. Apparently his team just getting out on the field. Not sure if he's going to be able to come by to talk to us or not yet, so we'll stand by, see if we can catch the coach before the second half begins, Steve.
Thanks, Bob. Always a pleasure to see Dr. Marshall Gordon of the Southwest Missouri State University. And back here in the booth is a sprinting Tom Mast as we're getting set to go here for the kickoff. It'll be Northern Iowa with a 21-14 lead. An exciting first half of play. Plenty of long scoring drives as well as runs here, as well as great passing we saw from both ends. So Northern Iowa will kick off, going from left to right here in this third quarter of play. And Mike Angel skips it along the ground. It's taken back by Southwest Missouri State, and they move the ball up very quickly. That's taken by Steve Wilkinson.
Yeah, Steve Wilkinson, probably the most surprised person on that field that time. You don't normally see it come that short, but it did. He gets it down to the 35-yard line. And SMS looking to try to turn the tides here. Steve gets an early, quick start.
Well, Southwest Missouri State will start off. And they have gone with their number one quarterback to start the season, but number two quarterback that came in later on in the game and in the second quarter and helped engineer a scoring drive. Greg Arterburn, the senior out of Hialeah, Florida. Back to pass. First attempt intercepted and taken back quickly by Northern Iowa, and they run out of bounds on the 30-yard line. So just like that, Northern Iowa gets a great break here, and we're just 12 seconds into this third quarter.
Making the interception, Mark Farley, a junior, coming up and really didn't have to work very hard on the interception. All he had to do was catch it because Arterburn simply unloaded, put it right in his hands.
Mark Farley, by the way, named Gateway Conference Defensive Player of the Week last week. He had 11 total tackles and 5 solos against Kansas State. Came up big there. Mike Smith now. The sophomore on a quick handoff right up the middle. And they pick up maybe 3 yards on the play. Great field position here for Northern Iowa as we're just underway after this first half of play.
Petey Stevens on the stop. Really, you kind of wonder if the 12 seconds in a second half can turn momentum, but it certainly could here if the Panthers can punch this thing on in and score. The Bears are really going to have a deep hole to come out of.
Second down at 6, the ball on the 26-yard line. The Panthers from Northern Iowa, 1-1 on the campaign, losing to Drake in their opener, up in Des Moines and coming back with a stunning victory last week, 10-6 against Kansas State. A penalty flag down as it looked like Carl Boyd, the sophomore out of Chicago, was trying to pick up a yard or two, and as he was motoring forward, it looked like a hand came up and grabbed his face mask. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like it's against Southwest Missouri State.
Well, if that's the case, and when you see 2 flags such as we did there, one initially and then one deep in the secondary from the back judge, that means he's seen something. Let's see if we can spot it here. Oh, yeah. James Houston's has got a couple of those pinkies hooked in there, and that got the mask, and that will tack on the yardage, and UNI's are really knocking now.
Well, one thing about Houston, he didn't hide the fact, and it's going to cost Southwest Missouri State University dearly. So they move the ball all the way down to the 12-yard line. Northern Iowa with a 21-14 lead, their first Gateway Conference appearance of the year. And you can see football by numbers at halftime stats. You can see the first downs, Northern Iowa ahead. Passing yardage is what you expected, but the rushing yardage, Northern Iowa had it against Southwest Missouri State. So 1st and 10, the ball on the 12. As they go up the middle for a couple of real tough yards. And it's never easy to be able to move the ball with any kind of fluency when you get within 10 yards of the goal line.
Well, I'm going to be very interested to see here after this turnover if the Panthers are able to punch it on in, get the points without throwing the ball. If they can grind out whatever it was, 25 yards or the drive total there, if they can do that on the ground, it's got to be a tremendous confidence builder for them the rest of this ballgame to know that they don't necessarily have to throw it.
A lot of responsibility on this young backfield, and including a quarterback, Mike Smith, just a sophomore. calling a lot of the plays himself. Now a handoff. He tried to get it to Boyd, and he couldn't go anywhere. He was stoned at the line of scrimmage, and now Mike Smith turns and looks back at the coaching staff. And it'll be third down and a long, long way to go for Northern Iowa.
Well, no passes, which I was halfway predicting there, all of a sudden now may have to become a reality. Facing the third and long.
Third down and 8 yards to go. Let's see if Smith, who has thrown so effectively this year, over 50% of his passing, has been completed. Back to pass. Smith now over the middle. Tries to throw it, intercepted. And taken away immediately by Southwest Missouri State on a great play. They picked the pass off of Smith. Tried a button hook right up the middle. And it didn't work, and it was picked off by Southwest Missouri State.
Matt Sorrigan on the interception there. Very, very timely pickoff. Watch it one more time here. Smith on the drop. Here is Preston Estes on the push, and there's Sorrigan from the linebacker spot. Steps up, and boy, what a play. Unbelievable, and the Bears will have it now on offense.
Sorrigan makes it big for Southwest Missouri State. Another turnover. From Maine to California, you're watching college football, 1985, here on SPN Sports, Northern Iowa, with the lead 21-14. We'll be back right after this timeout.
I've been at the university since 1969.
Who has just been intercepted. It's a lonely, lonely place along the sidelines. You'd like to dig a hole and hide, but you just can't do it.
But everyone saw this one, in particular, Matt Sorrigan. I mean, you dream about those. Made the pickoff. The back-to-back turnovers, has the ball in possession of the Bears.
Smith made a great play to come back and tackle him, or otherwise Sorensen may have gone all the way. First and 10, ball on the 28. A quick handoff up the middle, and a couple of tough yards. And again, Northern Iowa showing that it's going to be very tough to run through that wall, as they've got a great defensive unit.
Rod with the man up the middle. Talked to a few folks at halftime, and of course, everyone loves to be the sideline coach, and you try to speculate and guess, but it really seemed like to most people watching that, and of course to us too, that when the Bears went wide, they had a much more effective ball game.
Second down, 8 yards to go. B.J. Torbett split to the left. Ball in the far hash marks here at Briggs Stadium. Arterburn back to pass at his 22, throws it over the middle, and a great catch as he pulled it in was Mike Truelove. One of his favorite receivers, and Truelove scrambled down and rolled to make a great catch on the 45-yard line of Northern Iowa.
Well, watch it one more time. As I said in our opening comments of the ball game tonight, Mike Truelove finds himself in the role of a blocking tight end, but every so often in the ball game, they throw one his way, and did he make the catch? Well, I guess so.
Great ball control and body control as he waited. He made the catch and then curled over to make sure that he didn't have it knocked away as he pulled it in. First and 10. Ball at the 44-yard line of Northern Iowa. Quick handoff to Williams. He goes to the right side and picks up 2 or 3 tough yards, but that's as far as he got.
That's got to be the hardest yardage in football to pick up, is when the guard, the tackle in front of you, and the opposing tackle and nose man collapse, and you have nothing but bodies to go over, and there's just no place to put the feet, and so the easiest thing is just to give up on it. Just lay down and wait for the next play.
It's got to be frustrating for a player like Williams who can really scamper, and he's like a cat. If he can get loose, he can go, and you see his yardage 69 so far in the game. And once he gets past those linebackers, watch out. Arterburn with Williams off to his left. On an option play, flips it at the last second, and Williams takes it down inside the 25. Had a great play, make that Raynard Smith. Smith, the freshman out of Hollywood, Florida, waited until the last second was Arterburn, and he pitched it to Smith. And Smith took it on the left and took it down to about the 25-yard line.
I want to tell you, that was a sweet a pitch, and a big gamble pitch, too. Not a high percentage toss by Arterburn that time. Kind of a blind throw. Didn't really watch it. Just looked at the defender and pitched it and hoped that Smith was there. He was, and they turned a big gainer.
Well, they've talked about the speed of this youngster. Boy, he sure turned the corner once he got the ball, too, from Arterburn, as he waited at the last second, then pitched it to him. Now a handoff, trying to give it to Witt right up the middle, the senior out of Ava, Missouri, who has picked up 2 100-yard games in a row. Before last week, when he got injured, he only carried the ball 2 times for 5 yards, and then he watched for a while.
Dwayne Price, the big senior, inside making the stop. And I'm of the opinion now, Steve, I don't really think from defensive tackle to defensive tackle there's going to be much against this Panther ball club. They are very, very tough on that wall.
Well, we'll see if we see more pitching and sweeps by Southwest Missouri. Back to pass, Arterburn over the middle. Great catch by Williams. and he brings it down to about the 21-yard line. And they still need a few yards to go. It'll be about, call it second down and about 6 yards to go.
Very busy Joe Fuller once again on the stop for UNI. Here we go. Watch this one. Arterburn kind of jeopardizing his receivers. Williams has to leave his feet and pulls it down. A short gainer, but nonetheless a gainer, but now a very big third down in this drive.
Southwest Missouri State University trying to get back into a deadlock with Northern Iowa, who has a 7-point lead. Here in the third quarter, Arterburn tries the right side and brings it down to about the 15-yard line. Good pickup by Arterburn, as it looks like there was no hole developing, but he found one and picked up some valuable yardage.
Well, Arterburn is such a gambler. You know, he's from Hialeah, Florida. I don't know whether he goes down and plays the horses or not, but he sure gambles. He really does. And there was an example of that. They're a little bit short. And I really think when you trail by 7 at this point in the ball game, Steve, they're going for the first down.
Fourth down, it's short on the 16-yard line of Northern Iowa. Big play here for Southwest Missouri fans and the club at Briggs Stadium. Arterburn now. Close set. Looked like some movement in the line as it was Witt who dove over the middle of the nose guard. But as we said, there's a flag down as some movement was on the right side of the line, it looked like. And Northern Iowa is saying, yes, it's against the Bears.
Now, the key is here, did Witt dive over for the first down yardage? If so, UNI will have to take the penalty. If not, they'll decline and get the ball. They're putting the ball on, well, I thought it was on the 15-yard line. And now let's see, the offense is leaving the field, so apparently, well, no, we're going to try 3. I guess SMS is going to attempt to put 3 points on the board. Here's Dan Gasser.
Well, Gasser comes into the game, and he will mark it at about the 28-yard line, so it'll be a 38-yard kick.
Steve, the point we want to make here, the turf down there is not trimmed very short this evening. It's very high, so that ball will be coming out of some fluff.
More concentration for the youngster out of California. Ball is snapped. The ball is down. It's up. And it's good. A 38-yard field goal by Danny Gasser, the senior out of El Toro, California, brings Southwest Missouri State even closer at 21-17. From border to border, you're watching the best in college sports here on SPN. 21-17, Northern Iowa head here from Springfield, Missouri. A 38-yard field goal will kick off. And the fans who are getting excited in the late stages of the second quarter after Southwest Missouri was down by 14 are even more excited as it's taken back by Owens. He comes right up the middle. Here's Scott Owens up to about the 25, over that to about the 29-yard line. And the senior brings it up very close to the 30-yard line where Northern Iowa will have a 1st and 10.
You know, very unusual drive that time. SMS committing the early turnover, then getting it back there. You see the drive, the elapsed time, and the field goal by Gasser. But have to be impressed with the way the offense came back, turned it over, the defense gave it back to him, and they made some points out of it.
Mike Smith back in there for quarterback at Northern Iowa, the sophomore out of Tallahassee. Now a quick handoff up the middle, and the freshman takes it, Errol Peebles, and Peebles is having a hard time tonight finding running room up the middle, as is the other runners for Southwest Missouri State. Both teams are giving nothing from tackle to tackle.
I really believe if these two teams wanted to move the ball as fast as they can or possibly can, UNI would be throwing it a lot, SMS would be sweeping a lot, so obviously there's some real thought going into play selection and what they're trying to determine down there, because we know both can do each and complement the other very well.
Under 8 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Northern Iowa with possession in the lead. Quick pass to Smith as he gets it over to Frankie, and Frankie is out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. And Northern Iowa has picked up the first down on a 16-yard completion.
Frankie made a great turn that time on the inside, and now watch when you see the ball come down here. Mike Chapman was the man back on the corner defending here, and Frankie made such a button hook that Chapman was picking himself up. Here's the comeback, and as you see, Chapman not even in the picture yet. He had to come back up after being on the turf, and look at the yards for Frankie.
Frankie's having a wild night tonight, 136 yards on 7 receptions. Now Smith handing it off the middle, hesitating there was Boyd, and he picks up maybe 3 yards, pretty close to the midfield stretch.
James Houston, the linebacker, on the stop there. I've got a feeling, really, Steve, not trying to play coach, but I think UNI, they try the dive play or the up the middle play, the gut play, if you will. They try it once, even sometimes twice, but knowing deep down that the pass is there if they've got to have it.
2nd and 7 for the Panthers, as they're trying to expel upon what they did in the first half, and that was score a lot of points. Back to pass now. Smith, being under pressure, now goes to the sidelines and has to step out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. So subtract 5 yards from Northern Iowa's effort to move the ball, as he was pushed out of bounds at about the 43.
Preston Estes will be leading the charge here, number 89. You see him at the bottom of the screen here. Now he'll blow away from this block right here and then help the containment, gets his man down, then makes the force on Smith.
Third down and a long way to go for Northern Iowa. Smith steps back. He's at the 35, looks over the middle, completes it to Frankie. He's got running room, and Frankie down to the 30, to the 25, heads for the left sideline. Great block and is boomed down at the 5-yard line. Looks like Chapman took him down. What a great play there by Northern Iowa. Again, they find it an open receiver, and again, Frankie hauls it in and finds a seam and heads for a long, long way.
Watch again. Mike Chapman may have to polish those, or shine or sharpen those cleats, because he was down on the turf again. Number 21, Chapman, will be down as Frankie is open across the middle. You see Chapman right there goes down. Now watch who ultimately makes the hit. You see Frankie come down, some pursuit coming now. Frankie gets on down. I don't know if the play will hold it that long or not, but Chapman ultimately made the stop near the 5.
Northern Iowa on the 6-yard line of Southwest Missouri. They take it up the middle and pick up maybe a yard or two. But you're right, great second effort there as he came back to finally take down the receiver, Frankie, who found all sorts of room down the middle.
Well, I'll tell you,
Chapman filled out.
Frankie's having himself a season out there.
Oh.
Well, we got 21 minutes to go in this thing.
Frankie caught 6 for 72 yards last week against Kansas State. He has really upped those numbers tonight here against Southwest Missouri. 21-17, 6 minutes, 10 seconds remaining. Northern Iowa knocking on the door one more time against Southwest Missouri. Mike Smith now takes a handoff, goes back to about the 15, is in trouble, lets it go in the end zone, and it was batted down. Great defensive play there as Smith tried to throw it in the crowd near the goal line.
Now, I want to tell you, Mike Smith is a sophomore, so he's got a little veteran play behind him. Here's the replay one more time. He did this early in the ballgame. You'll remember the floating quail that he threw in there. He got himself in a position here where he knew what he wanted to do, but probably on second thought wouldn't have done it if he had it to do all over again. Fortunate for the Panthers, they'll get another shot at it.
Dave Alpo made a great play, the game captain tonight from Kansas City. Third down and 4, the ball sitting at the 4-yard line. Smith back to pass one more time. Now skips past the defender, races all the way back to the 20, throws it up to the 15 to Boyd. Boyd down to the 10, but he's lost yardage. And it's a 6-yard loss for Northern Iowa, and it'll be 4th down, and you can bet you're going to see the field goal kicking team coming in.
Well, James Houston in the books will get credit for the tackle ultimately, but watch who makes the play out of the left side of the screen here. Number 3, charging in is Wayne Evans. That forced Smith back about 10 yards, and anytime you go in that direction as a quarterback, you aren't doing the right thing. He does get the completion off here, but here's James Houston, gets up, puts the waist tackle on, and as you say, UNI going for 3.
Angel looking for the 26-yard field goal. The ball is down. The kick is up. And it's good. So Northern Iowa gets 3 more points on the board. That has increased their lead back to 7 points. Here from Briggs Stadium, we'll be back with more exciting SPN sports here for 1985. You're watching the best here in college football right after the 7-point advantage back on a 26-yard field goal will kick off.
You know, Steve, I'm watching him tee that ball up, and he's laying it, well, he was putting it momentarily on its side, and now he's got a tremendous angle. Well, he still does. That ball is not teed straight up and down. So the deep men, if they can see that far, should be aware of the fact they're not going to see it. There you see the drive and the field goal for the Panthers.
Angel now squibs it along the ground. Cummings drops it and picks it up at the 25, up to the 30, 35, and he reaches almost the 40-yard line. So what was the strategy for Northern Iowa to force them back deeper in their zone? Just didn't work as Cummings made a great play.
Here we go one time. You see the three deep people, Torbert Williams and Raynard Smith. They're not even going to get close to the ball as it came up short this time. And really what this does too, Steve, you lose three people from the play if you're SMS. When it comes to the short men, you've lost three potential blockers there. So I guess in a way it does work out to your advantage.
And Cummings with those 205 pounds really bowled his way up for a few extra yards. And now Williams tries to scamper the left side, picked up maybe 2 yards. And Arterburn will go back to the huddle and set strategy one more time with Williams trying to shift him up the middle, but hasn't been that effective going that way. You got to get him to the outside and give him some breathing room, and then he'll take off.
Belleville, Illinois native Dwayne Price on the stop that time for the Panthers. Big guy up front, 265.
Second down, 8, ball on the 42-yard line. Southwest Missouri tonight in the front of a capacity crowd at Briggs Stadium here in the Queen City of the Ozarks, Springfield, Missouri. On a beautiful campus. Here, Arterburn throws it up for grabs. And he tried to hit Torbett, and it was batted away, and the ball went straight up in the air, and it looked like Fuller almost had a chance to pull it in.
Mark Farley got a hand up in front of that from the linebacker spot. Watch the end zone shot here. Arterburn on a real nice quick release here. And watch Farley get this hand up. Right there. Tips it. And anybody's ball, but nothing comes of it.
Well, Farley's already picked off one today. Looking for his second one. Arterburn faced with a third down and 8, ball in the 42. Southwest Missouri State trying to get something going. They've got two players in the backfield moving as the ball was snapped. The penalty flag is down. Trulov all alone, and it was batted away at the last second on a great play defensively by Tim Moses, but they're going to bring this play back.
Yeah, kind of an interesting play there. I think the people up front saw the flags go out. Everybody saw the two men go in motion. The reason for that, and we hadn't mentioned that early on, and a lot of folks around the country that are seeing this ball game and seeing these two teams for the first time might be a little confused as to this SMS offense. It's called the Delaware Wing T, and one of the strategies of the offense is always having one man with one step in motion each time. Well, that time it backfired. Two men thought their number had been called for the motion play, and of course they'll nullify the take the down, and now the Bears will kick.
Well, it's legal in Canadian football to have more than one person in the backfield moving, but you can't do it here in college football.
We're too far south.
Mike Atson back. Looking for some good hang time as he gets the ball off. Squibs off his foot. Here comes the Northern Iowa player moving it up to about the 35. And a great play there by Luis Gonzalez. As Gonzalez moves the ball up to the 35, it'll be 1st and 10 for Northern Iowa, who has a 7-point lead.
I want to pass along some scores here tonight. Illinois State, a ball club that last week tied SMS tonight, has defeated Wayne State 17-2. 17-2 at the half. Here's a surprise. Baylor leading Southern Cal 10-7 at the half. Texas leading Missouri 14-7, and in the third period, Arkansas up on Tulsa 24-0.
Tom, we talked about hang time, and we said 5 was fantastic. Atson that time had 2.8. And now Smith calls timeout for Northern Iowa. They're going to think things over with 4:12 remaining here in the third quarter. And they have the lead. You see Mike Smith? And you can tell that they've got a real duel between these two clubs far, far away from the state of Florida. But we got two quarterbacks, one from the northern part of the state. You see Smith from Tallahassee, and then Arterburn from Hialeah down in Miami.
Well, you know, Northern Iowa, even though things seem to be shifting and doing things and moving their way, they've got to realize there's 19 minutes of football left up on the board. You can't make mistakes at this point. It's a 7-point ball game. I think we've got more points coming before this thing is over with. So every timeout taken now is a pretty critical one.
The nation's best small college football teams will be featured live on Saturday afternoon this fall on SPN. Classic rivalries like DePaul Wabash, Wittenberg, Baldwin Wallace, Lehigh Lafayette, and Southwest Missouri and Murray State highlight a schedule that leads up to the NCAA playoffs in December. The competition is just as intense as major college football level, and you'll enjoy the charm and beauty of the sport on SPN. Takes you around the country throughout the fall. Well, you see the turnovers, Tom, in Southwest Missouri. Pretty close so far. And yards penalized. Pretty quiet on that front so far, too. So Mike Smith getting set to go first and 10, ball on the 35-yard line. Smith rolling to his right, looking downfield, throws it long toward his receiver, Frankie. And a great play as it was batted down there by Mike Chapman, the senior out of Miami, Florida, to break that up.
There's one of the few times, we got a flag down here back at the line of scrimmage. We'll have to see what it is. You're going to see one more time here. This is one of the few times tonight that Chapman has really been ahead of the play or in it. We got a flag when we come back, but watch the throw here. Chapman, Frankie gets past him, but Chapman cuts it down, really has the chance at the interception, just can't quite hold it falling down.
Well, an unusual penalty. Chop block, blocking below the waist is the call. And it's going to push Northern Iowa back after Frankie, who almost pulled in a great catch, pretty close to the 20-yard line. And now Smith slowly walks back to the huddle. He's going to say, what do I have to do here to get this club rolling? They've done well so far in the game, but right now in the third quarter, they're clinging to a 7-point lead.
You know, the one thing about the Bears to this point in the season, they have yielded lots and lots of yardage. They're giving up about 175 yards a game through the air. So you see that Northern Iowa has far exceeded that, and you know that between Smith and Willard, 300 yards, or maybe even 400 before this thing is over with, is not out of the question.
Williams had 66 in that first half alone. And it'll be first and 25 from the 20-yard line. Smith now, straight back, and a quick handoff, throws it up the middle, and it was carried there by the freshman, Errol Peebles. And Peebles picked up a yard or two, and that's about all. It did not work.
Dave Alpo again on the hit. Alpo out of Kansas City, one of the seniors up front for the Bears. The defense for the Bears, you hate to say that it's been a mystery all season, but last week they make a tremendous 4-play goal line stand to keep Illinois State from scoring the go-ahead touchdown. And then there are moments when they're so vulnerable. Here, one of the better plays we've seen them make.
Second down, 23, the ball on the 22-yard line. Smith now, back to pass one more time. Plenty of time, looks over to his right, sees some traffic, he scampers to his left and now runs to the left side. Tosses it down the middle, and it's way short as he tried to hit a receiver down the field. And he just ran out of running room, and he threw it to his halfback, Carl Boyd, who had slipped and fall and didn't quite reach it down to the turf at about the 47-yard line.
If Smith has one major flaw, and we've seen it 3 or 4 times tonight, he is a fine quarterback and going to be there for a while. But I think his selection when it comes to finally throwing, I never was a quarterback, so I don't know. But you have to occasionally learn to eat it. You have to go down with the football.
Well, you hate to second-guess the quarterback up here, but he probably should have run with the ball. Smith now, 3rd and 23 on the 22. Drops back one more time. Dangerous play here. He scampers away from the interference. Flag goes down. Smith with running room up to about the 33-yard line. But there was a flag back in the backfield, and we'll wait to see what the call is going to be.
Petey Stevens made the final stop on Smith. If it's against UNI, which the flag is, the Bears now face the possibility of declining, taking a 4th and 13, or maybe sending them further back. I don't know. Let's watch and see if we can pick up what happens back here.
It's a legal use of hands. Well, there you can see it on the corner of the screen. Number 78 just grabbed onto the defenseman, and right there you can see Smith finding some opening as he scampered through a couple of players, but it's going to be negated right here, and we'll march back toward the Northern Iowa goal line.
They're going to decline and go ahead and take the ball, which is a good move. You could have gotten an extra maybe 5 or 8 yards. I don't know what the mark-off would have been inside the 20. But the Bears will go ahead, get the ball back, take it back inside, probably get it around their own 30 or so.
Smart play there as the kicking team comes on. Lane Udisill back to kick the ball. He is the person we've been talking about with great hang time tonight. 6'2", 215-pound junior sends the ball up by the lights. All the way back is Hartwig at about the 17, up to the 20, and he's quickly taken down. And a great kick there by the youngster from Ames, Iowa. 4.3 seconds on the hang time. And Southwest Missouri here will start off at about the 23-yard line.
Hartwig, did you see the fingertip catch there? That'll give a coach nightmares, but he brings it in. But the blocking is just not sufficient enough to get him moving here, and so the Bears will start just across the 20-yard line.
Hartwig actually ran into his own man as he tried to shift from left to right. And he picked up a couple of valuable yards. 1st and 10. Ball in the 23. Down to the right side. Here's Arterburn. Electing to keep the ball himself, and he moves it up to about the 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, call it 7.
Fuller once again on the stop. This is what makes Arterburn versus Leaker for Southwest Missouri State a little more effective, is the option play and people that have scouted knowing that Arterburn is going to keep it half the time, and half the time he's going to give it to somebody else. And if you're that defensive end or whoever trying to come up and contain, you're perplexed. You really don't know what to do. Do I stay with the quarterback or watch for the pitch? So that makes him an effective quarterback.
Arterburn picks up 4 yards. 2nd down, 6. Fumble, the ball is loose. And Northern Iowa says they have it. And they do. So the University of Northern Iowa, the Panthers have come up with a big turnover here.
Jeff Beals.
With a 7-point lead and 2:41 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Will take control of the ball one more time.
Jeff Beals, the man making the recovery, the sophomore from Orland Park, Illinois. And I'll tell you, Arterburn just stepped away that time. Here it comes. Never had control of the ball. You see it slipping away, bounding to the left there. And Beals makes a good move, spotting it quickly, and pounces on it, and UNI is in shape.
Chances of recovering a fumble when you've got to turn to your rear to pull down the ball is pretty minimal. And you can see that Northern Iowa came up with it. The 4th turnover for Southwest Missouri State tonight. Boyd tries it up the middle. And he picks up a couple of valuable yards. Boyd just 5'6", 169-pound sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois. As we talked about earlier in the game, had over 100 yards against Kansas State. And he's finding the running a little bit tougher here tonight. As in the first half, he was able to pick up 41 yards. And 23 of that was on one play.
A little timeout on the field to reset the ball, I think. With 2:15 to go here, UNI last time was held out by the Bears defense and forced to take the 3. 3 would be very important right here to get that 10-point margin.
Well, 2nd down at 6, the ball on the 20-yard line of Southwest Missouri State University. The handoff again to Boyd. He rolls off, and he's going to have a clear path to the end zone. Touchdown, Northern Iowa. And Boyd, who hit the line of scrimmage and hit a pile of players, slid off to the right and walked into the end zone for a 20-yard touchdown.
Watch this on the right side. This is one of those terrible defensive situations where everyone thinks the other guy's got him. They've got him held up there, and there just wasn't enough. And Carl Boyd from 20 yards goes out, makes it 30-17, and they'll go for the PAT.
So Mike Angel will get his chance. The ball is down, the kick is up. And it's now 31-17. The Panthers of Northern Iowa have grabbed a 2-touchdown lead, back again with 2:02 remaining here in the 3rd quarter from Springfield. And you can see the cheerleaders, they're excited about it. A big turnover here gave the opportunity for Northern Iowa to capitalize, and we talked about Boyd. He was having all sorts of trouble moving the ball up the middle, and then all of a sudden he scampered in for a 20-yard touchdown after he was held at the line of scrimmage, slid off the tackle and walked in past the secondary, and a 14-point lead for the Panthers. So back in '83, it was Southwest Missouri State winning here. They were 1-1 against Northern Iowa.
One more time.
In the series, it's 4-1.
One more time on the Boyd run, and you almost dream about these going in untouched, especially from 20 yards out.
Well, there was excitement here in the crowd tonight, as we mentioned, a capacity crowd at Briggs Stadium. People have now glued themselves a little closer to the seats after that quick run and after the turnover.
Well, anytime you're within 7, like SMS was, you feel like there's a closeness, and now it's a 2-touchdown difference.
Angel lets it go. He gets it up to Smith, who races off to the far side. Renard Smith takes it up to about the 25-yard line, and that's where Southwest Missouri State will start 1st and 10.
Tim Moses up to make the stop there.
So there you see the scoring drive, just 2 plays, and it only took 39 seconds. So what was once the quickest scoring drive in the game at 6 seconds has been very close to 39 seconds on that one. And we see a player down on the field for Northern Iowa.
I think that's John Hill. I believe that's John Hill, the man they're working on right now.
So Hill being worked on.
It's kind of unusual. We've seen maybe a half a dozen players tonight being helped off the field.
Another one of those young backs. He's a sophomore out of Davenport, Iowa. And he's hanging on to his right arm. It may be an elbow. He had it heavily taped before, as you can see. And he walks to the sidelines for treatment. 1st and 10 for Southwest Missouri State. Ball sitting at the 25-yard line. They trail by 14 here in front of their home crowd today. And Northern Iowa, who has failed to play at home yet, is 1-1 and hoping to make it 2-1. And now Leaker's back in there, a quarterback, and he scampers for a good gain of almost 10 yards. Leaker found himself looking for somebody to pass it to, and all of a sudden he realized he had better running room to go with.
Storbeck on the stop that time. Leaker, watch this hole open up when he rolls to the right and then looks back across field. Leaker back in place of Arterburn, so we've had quite a shuffling of quarterbacks tonight. On the rollout, he's thinking pass all the way. Don't know if we'll get that far or not, but it opens up here and sees the hole right there and shoots back through it.
Well, they had enough for the first down as they go from the 36, and a quick handoff to Williams, who almost broke it loose, takes it up to about the 42 or 43-yard line. So the coach, Rich Johanningmeyer, here at Bear Country, is making some shifts, going back with Leaker after he started with him in the game, brought Greg Arterburn in. Arterburn ignited the team in the second quarter, and now he's back to Leaker with 1:09 to go here in the third quarter of play and trailing by 14 points.
Bob Storbeck again, the man making the stop. Storbeck and Fuller have been extremely busy on defense tonight.
2nd down and 4, the ball on the 42. A quick handoff to Witt. He's got some running room, and the ball's loose. It pops out, but they're going to say he was down as he touched the playing surface. Very close to a first down.
That one surprised about 6 or 7 people, because that ball jumped so high off the ground. Mark Farley, the man making the hit and the stop that time. But Witt was down, and I don't know whether the pressure, somebody coming in kicking the ball possibly, but it shot up 8 or 9 feet in the air.
Well, Rod Witt got enough yardage to pick up the second first down of this drive for Southwest Missouri State. You can see Coach Johanningmeyer down there, adjusting his belt, trying to come up with some idea to get this team back into this game. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Here's Leaker on an option play, decides to go up the middle and moves it into Northern Iowa territory. Good yardage as he started to streak to the right and then turned around and decided to go right up the middle.
Now Leaker again with pretty much almost the same sort of thing we saw a couple of plays ago, roll to the right, and it just wasn't there, and I'm sure the Bears are going to take the last 6 seconds off here and try to regroup for that 4th and final period.
Well, they weren't able to get the playoff. We'll come back for the 4th and final quarter here from Springfield, Missouri. We'll be back with more SPN action right after this. Alumni Association. So you alums from Northern Iowa and Southwest Missouri State University, let your alumni director know you've enjoyed the game here tonight and help support your college activities. Just starting the 4th quarter here from Springfield, Missouri. Ball on the 50-yard line. 2nd down and 7 to go. Southwest Missouri State with the ball, trailing by 14. Back to pass. Leaker now gets it over the middle, completes it to Witt. He's at the 45, down to the 40, and he bowls his way down inside the 35. Great extra effort there by Witt.
Big run, big reception that time after a big run after the reception for Witt. And I'll tell you, Joe Fuller is one of the fellas that made a hit, and Joe Fuller's limping around out there for UNI, and we also have Witt down on the field. There's a lot of banging going on down there. Here we go one more time. Leaker, I don't know if you'll see it happen. Leaker finds the turf after he unloads. Watch this. He got hit. Witt pulls it in about the 47. Gets a questionable block there, I guess. There is Fuller makes a hit. Leaker puts a man down. Now Fuller comes on up, and he really was banging around on Witt, and Witt is down one more time. And, of course, he is the fellow that last week went out of the ball game.